Our gospel reading today is continuing on in Luke's gospel. We're now in the 21st chapter, and I'm going to begin at verse 5. When some were speaking about the temple, how it was adored with beautiful stones and gifts dedicated to God, he said, "As for these things that you see, the days will come when not one stone will be left upon another, all will be thrown down." They asked him, "Teacher, when will this be? And what will be the sign that this is about to take place?" And he said, "Beware that you are not led astray. For many will come in my name and say, 'I am he,' and the time is near. Do not go after them. When you hear of wars and insurrections, do not be terrified. For these things must take place first, but the end will not follow immediately." Then he said to them, "Nation will rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. There will be great earthquakes, and in various places famines and plagues, and there will be dreadful portents and great signs from heaven. But before all this occurs, they will arrest you and persecute you. They will hand you over to synagogues and prisons, and you will be brought before kings and governors because of my name. This will give you an opportunity to testify. So make up your minds not to prepare your defense in advance. For I will give you words and a wisdom that none of your opponents will be able to withstand or contradict. You will be betrayed even by parents and brothers, by relatives and friends, and they will put some of you to death. And you will be hated by all because of my name. But not a hair in your head will perish. By your endurance, you will gain your souls." This is the word of the Lord, and thanks be to God for his holy word to you and to me. Yes, David was speaking, was he not? Of the things that we're just talking about, and the signs that we say will occur. There is so much fear and anxiety in this world today. And I'll admit, I thought he was leading up to the Pitt Panthers actually winning a game in the fourth quarter. But nothing to do with it. Nothing at all. False teaching. Don't buy into it. No. See, this past few weeks I've been reading a lot. And I came across something. It's an article. It's actually in the Huffington Post. And they talk about, it's from a workplace stress consultant, Don Joseph Goey. He says, 500 years ago, 14th century philosopher Michel de Montaigne said, "My life has been filled with terrible misfortunes, most of which never happened." Think about that. Much of what we think. Now, there's actually a study that proves it. Okay? This study looked at how many of our imagined calamities never materialized. In this study, subjects were asked to write down their worries over an extended period of time and then identify which of their imagined misfortunes did not actually even occur. Lo and behold, it turns out that in this study, 85% of what subjects worried about never happened. And with the 15% that did happen, 79% of the subjects discovered either that they could handle the difficulty better than expected, or the difficulty taught them a lesson worth learning. This means and translates to 97% of what you worry over is not much more than a fearful mind punishing you with exaggerations and misperceptions. Interesting, isn't it? Yeah, but life is still real. Life is still difficult. This is appropriate, given that the gospel, my friends, is the gospel in any case. The outcome of the presidential elections, the Panthers winning a game, given the language thrown back and forth for the last several months, many find that this statement is difficult to fathom. Surely it's the end of the world as we know it, is what we say, right? That's the beauty of the text that we're pointed for this day. Our texts point to the reality that too often what we think to be catastrophically as actually isn't. Much of what we believe to be permanent isn't permanent. The source and seat of power is not ultimately where we seek it. Even temples made of massive stones can be destroyed. Did you see Ron Tappy's presentation today? Did you see the size of those walls that they were talking about in the excavations, and how there were things built upon other things that were torn down and destroyed? You would look at those walls and say, there's no way that could have gone, but it was. Those marveling at the opulence, the beauty, and the scale of those stones are missing the time of visitation from God taking place right before them. Those who fret over the timing of the end of times are told, don't be terrified. Despite the chaos and calamity, God is at work, and you don't need to be afraid. Nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom, police officers ambushed, African American churches burned and vandalized. This, my friends, is an opportunity for you and for me. And our opportunity to do what, this text tells us? This text tells us that this is an opportunity for us to testify to our faith. This is an opportunity to testify, and we better get to it. Now is our time to speak the words the Spirit gives us, and we better pray when we speak. A message may be given to us to make known with boldness the mystery of the gospel. Did you hear that? We're not to plan and prepare our message. It's going to be given to us by the Spirit. 1 week ago, my friends, regardless of who one thought was headed to the White House in January of 2017, much of the nation thought that the end of the world was here upon us. This week, following the election, not only half that number are so sure. We're getting better. The chaos we've seen, the rhetoric we've heard, and the violence we witnessed certainly didn't stop on November 9th, did it? We must find a way to live together. Not just in tolerance, but in the perfect love that casts out fear. Now is our opportunity to testify, and we better pray to proclaim the gospel with boldness and with clarity. We better pray to preach it relentlessly, fearlessly, and authentically. We need to stop admiring the stones of the temple and start following the one who turns them upside down. Not leaving one unturned, until justice rolls down like waters and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream. Are all wondering, what now? Who's next? What's next? Well, I'm here to tell you this today. Now is our opportunity to testify. Now is our opportunity to speak the gospel to the brokenhearted. Now is our opportunity to speak the truth to our friends and our neighbors in love. Now is our opportunity to let the world know we are Christ's disciples by our love for one another in a very unloving and too often unloving world. Now is our opportunity to testify to the power of Jesus Christ to reconcile and to forgive, to transform and to redeem. Consider all the tumult, all the war, the earthquakes, the suffering, and the cruelty. Does not God have a word to say in the midst of all of this? Have we not been given a purpose to fulfill in the face of it? Are we not to be the light to the world? Didn't Jesus ask, do you love me? Yes, Lord. You know that we love you. Tend my sheep. Now is our opportunity to tend and to testify. The stones around us are coming down. Not one will be left standing. The middle won't hold. Like the curtain torn in two, our communities have been split apart by highways built through neighborhoods, and gerrymandering districts carved out of so many politicians can choose their voters instead of voters choosing their representatives, and prison populations that keep families apart for years, if not forever. The beautiful stones have crushed too many, and Jesus is the one pulling them down. Are we terrified? Or are we ready to stand strong and testify to the one who raises up children of Abraham out of those stones? Isaiah, our text this morning, offers us such a contrast to Luke for this week. For it reads, "For I am about to create a new heaven and a new earth. Be glad and rejoice in what I'm creating. No more will the sound of weeping be heard, or the cry of distress. They shall build houses and inhabit them. They shall not labor in vain." Imagine. The wolf and the lamb shall feed together. Imagine. They shall not hurt or destroy on my holy mountain. Imagine. Can we imagine that this is the new thing that God is doing in our midst? Can we imagine even in the midst of a nation against nation? Can we claim this vision and testify to it and seek to live it even now? That's what I long, not just to be preached from our pulpits, but to be lived out each and every day on the streets by Christians, each and every one of us. Imagine the possibilities. In the wake of this election, there will be many who say the end is near, all is lost. Now what? Now is the opportunity for you and I to testify to the gospel and to the God who longs for everyone to build houses and inhabit them, to plant vineyards and eat their fruit and enjoy the work of their hands. Imagine that. Beware, my friends, that we are not led astray. Don't give in to the narrative of destruction simply for destruction's sake. Remember, Jesus says that the temple that is destroyed will be raised again in 3 days. The Son of God, dead and buried, will be raised on the 3rd day. Destruction, death, enmity, strife will come to an end. Our God is the God of peace, not of chaos. Imagine, testify, pray. Speak the words the Spirit gives with boldness. Remember, we are not among those who shrink back and are so lost, but among those who have faith and so are saved. That's from Hebrews. Endurance in life, my friends. There is a deep need for us to share the good news of Jesus Christ in this world of chaos. We need to testify and to live out that perfect love that casts out all fear. The love that longs and works for a time when hurt and destruction is simply no more. Imagine the possibilities if that's what we focused on. My friends, may we focus on the gospel of Jesus Christ and his word to us, trusting that he will give to us what is needed to move forward. May God bless our efforts to be the church this day, to stand and testify and witness to God's love. That love that builds a community, not tears it apart. May God bless our efforts in all of our disunity to be unified under Jesus Christ.